everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Clear Point Podcast with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing out there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie. It's literally mad kind of weather out there today. It's kind of looking warm, then it's cold again, then it's warm, then it's cold again. Probably most likely, it's going to be cold again. So for the people who live in there in England, wrap yourself up warm. As you can see, man's got the fleece and all that. You know what I mean? Big up the Gunners and that. We will discuss Arsenal very shortly down the line. But right now, big yourselves up, guys. First time season watchers, all 79 of you. Appreciate you guys' time. Obviously, there was meant to be 80. That person decided they didn't want none of me anymore. They don't want none of the AJ Styles song. And it's fine. I hear it. You know what I mean? I got to the milestone and it got taken away. It's one of those things that happen, but you just have to keep on moving. You gotta roll with it. You gotta take your time. You gotta say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way. But it is what it is. So let's move on now and get on to the first piece of what we got for you guys on the podcast this week, which is the advice. The first one we got. I accidentally became a legend at work. Well, it's great to become a legend at work, but let's find out. You know what I mean? Now I was playing the old school Pro Evo, becoming a legend, but let's find out what he's saying here. A few months ago, a colleague asked me to help with his computer. I'm not particularly knowledgeable, but I did a few random things and the problem was solved. Since then, word has spread around the office that I'm a gifted IT guy. Speak. Now, every time someone's computer breaks, they call me. And the weirdest thing is that I'm actually starting to guess the solutions. People joke that I'm a hacker. And even my boss once said that without me, the department will fall apart. The truth is, I secretly Google everything. Every problem, every basic thing like how to enable safe mode. Sometimes I spend a lot of time pretending to work with code, but really, just reading forum posts. Recently, a colleague told me he was going to nominate me for an internal promotion to the IT department. I laughed, but he wasn't joking. And now I don't know how to admit that the whole image is a fluke and a lucky series of Google searches. People generally consider me an expert, and I'm panicking because if they hire me, I'd fall on the very first day, fail. Sometimes I even want to deliberately screw it up to shed this label, but for now I keep playing the role and everyone only believes in my talent more and more. Well, you blagged it, right? And the thing is, if you're going to get more money from this, just do it. Do you know what I mean? Like the Nike logo, just do it. Because at the end of the day, right, they thought you were a genius, you play the role, you keep going, and so on and so forth. If someone starts to question you or ask anything, keep denying it. Do you know what I mean? Keep denying it. Because if this thing is going to take you to get more money or potential place where you can get more money, but even when you're doing the job, learn on the job. Just try to find the tricks of the trade. Maybe ask one of the guys who's working alongside you, hey, do you know how to say, listen, I blagged my way? Just tell him the truth. One of them. The person that you feel you can trust the most there. You know what I mean? And just tell them, hey, I mean, I've been blagging my way through this and all the colleagues think I'm this IT guy. Unfortunately, I'm not. I just found out things through Google. Do you know what I mean? Can you help a brother out? I'm sure someone there will help you out. That one person that will have your back. But you may have to split some bit costs, send some money his way just for the bribery and stuff, just so he can keep it quiet. Because some people, if they know, hey, you ain't, and you're earning that money that they're on, then they start to say, hey, 2 and 2 isn't 4 here. What are you doing here? Do you know what I mean? So you just got to slide them a bit of hush money just to make sure that that person doesn't start spreading some words around you, to the people about you. So best case scenario, just to keep blagging. You know what I mean? If it isn't about the money, then just tell them the truth. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you're worried about how you're going to be perceived down the line, then just tell them the truth. You know what I mean? If it isn't about the money, then just say, listen, I've been blagging my way through this. I found it through Google, and that's what it is. So you got 2 options there from me. You can use them or you can decide not to use them. And that's that. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Sorry, my throat now. It's doing a mad one. Brilliant. Okay. Excuse the background noise. So I'm not alone. It's just the things that I'm going through. So I told a joke to my family that I didn't understand at the time. Okay, let's hear what this one is saying. I was like 10 years old. We just got dial-up internet and I ran across some websites I probably shouldn't have been on. Side eye emoji. Anyways, I repeated it in front of my mum, grandma and sister. I don't remember who all was in the room. I said, "What do you call an Ethiopian with a yeast infection?" They just sat there and silent, and a little shocked. I said, "A quarter pound with cheese." Wow. Yeah, they were like, "What the and my mum smacked me. I'm like, okay, that was weird. Now I'm 34 and I just randomly remembered that this happened. Oh, God. Well, sometimes when you're young, you do say them inappropriate things sometimes and you wouldn't really know what it really means. But, you know, you found this by accident. Somehow you were on some weird site, somehow searching for this thing. But it's one of them ones, you know. You just gotta leave in the past. It happened as a kid. You just gotta laugh about it now and just move on. You know what I mean? The Tyler Cruz stuff. I can't wait till you're gone away. Then I can move on. Wait till you are gone. Well, that was rain I was hearing out there from it. I got garlic. If that's rain, I'm screwed. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got to ride bike and all. But anyways, yeah. But as simple as that. It was in the past. Leave it in the past. If you can't get over it, go and see a therapist. Simple as. All right. That's all for the advice for this week. Now I'm going to come on to top 5. My top 5 this week is top 5 celebrity crushes. Who are my top 5 celebrity crushes? You're about to find out. Well, past included and everything, sentimental values and all I'm putting into this. So we're going to come on to number 5 of my celebrity crushes. Now, number 5 for me is Little Kim. Now, Little Kim, back in the days, I'm talking about before all the surgery, for all of that, Little Kim was a bad looking girl. I mean, she was fine. You know what I mean? I had a poster of her on my wall. I remember when she did that pose and she just covered her chest like that. And listen, it was risque to put that on the wall, especially parents are Christian and that. Do you know what I mean? But man had it on the wall. Do you know what I mean? I had that and the hair was blonde. And do you know what I mean? I had that on my wall. Trust me. That's when Little Kim was at her baddest. She was finer than her mother. Ooh. Do you know what I mean? Shut your mouth. Little Kim was bad. Do you know what I mean? That's why she was on my wall. You know what I mean? I remembered the good old days when seeing a Little Kim thing and I was like, yo, this woman is fine. She is sexy alive. So yeah, she gets in at number 5. Number 4 for me, Trish Stratus. Now, the reasons why Trish Stratus is number 4 is that Trish, watching wrestling back in the days, if people watched WWE back in the days, you would know about Trish Stratus. Now, some people probably liked Sable, but I was more on Trish, just purely because I knew Trish was more kind of natural. Not saying Sable wasn't, but Trish was generally more in my kind of lane than the Sable was. So Trish, for me, just did that thing. I was like, whoa, this white girl is fine. You know what I mean? Like, she looked good. Do you know what I mean? Especially when she wore the top. That time when she had the cowboy hat and stuff, and she used to come out with the TNA group as well. Test, and I think was it. I can't remember the other ones. Albert. I can't remember who his tag team partner was, but rest in peace to Test. Do you know what I mean? I remember she was with that group, TNA. No, there was TNA, the group's name was. So it's Test and Albert. It's TNT. Forgetting it. You know, but anyways, yeah. But listen, Trish Stratus was kind of my first crush in terms of obviously white girl doing her thing, you know what I mean? So she was kind of the first, you know, that I saw on TV that I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Young teenager, already in that, seeing Trish Stratus, my eyes are like, ping, you know what I mean? Whoa, this guy, fire, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? All of that. I mean, is it desire? Or is it love that I'm feeling for you? At that point in time, yeah, she got me very, very, very excited most times. You know, days when I was like, oh, big things are popping. I didn't have big things, so I don't have big things, but they were popping still. You know what I mean? So yeah, she got me in my feelings like I was Drake and that. So that's all I gotta say on Trish. Trish, great memories, great memories of Trish in her heyday. Do you know what I mean? She got me very excited. That's all I gotta say there. Let's move on to number 3 before I start reminiscing again. Man has to go to the toilet now. Anyways, next one, Regina Hall. Regina Hall. I think the first time I kind of came across Regina Hall, I kind of wasn't really on the wavelength of knowing what Regina Hall's past work was until I saw her in Scary Movie. That was when it did it for me, to be honest, because seeing her in that movie and how fine she looked, and I thought, whoa, this girl's hot. She's really attractive. Do you know what I mean? I think that obviously past films she starred in, but as I said, for me, didn't know much about her history in the films back in those days. But, you know, going more into like watching Scary Movie and seeing her in there, I was like, yo, this woman is actually sexy. She's beautiful, she's hot, very attractive, and I couldn't take my eyes off her when I was watching. Can't take my eyes off you. You just so heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. That's just generally what it was for me. Got me all in the feels and that. But anyways, you know what I mean? She was at number 3 for me. For me, she just did more of a thing for me than Little Kim and Trish Stratus. That's why she has to be at number 3 for me. Number 2, Christina Milian. Now, there's no doubt here, Christina Milian was one of my favorites. You know what I mean? Especially as a young teen, you know what I mean? Growing up, when she first came out, I think AM to PM song first bust out, I was like, yo, who's this woman? And I was watching it very closely, you know what I mean? Somebody hit the lights, let me come back day and night, moving in background at night, AM to PM, all of that. I was like, yo, this woman is buff, do you know what I mean? I couldn't take my eyes off watching the screen and watching Christina Milian before. Because Christina Milian was doing her thing. And I was like, yo, this woman is fire. This woman is incredible. This woman is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Here we go again, my love. You know, I'll never let you go. You know what I mean? She was absolutely beautiful. So Christina Milian, me, comes at number 2. Now, number 1, the big smash it. That's a hit to me. All right, number 1 for me is Megan Good. Now, Megan Good is just the buffest girls in there. But before I want to go into Megan Good, honorable mention, Christina Hendricks. She is fine. You know what I mean? Ginger, nut, she can snap me anytime. Trust me, she, fine figure, body, incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like her. I'll put another person there, Cammie Crawford, fine as well. Can't deny her. She's absolutely beautiful. Takara gets a mention for me as well. But yeah, those will get a mention. So, but number 1, Megan Good, fire. Oh, she's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely stunning. Lauren London gets a mention for me as well. Lauren London didn't just make the list because I just thought the other girls were just a bit more memorable for me than Lauren London was. But Lauren London gets a mention for me as well. She's fine too. But Megan Good, just I remember seeing her in those videos back in the days, and just seeing her in the 50 Cent 21 Questions. I thought, this girl's fire. This girl's beautiful. She's, you know what I mean, like, want to make me sing love songs to her, you know what I mean? Like, DJ, won't you play this girl love song? Really needs to hear this freaking love song. She looking at me, got a heart up and tell the things ain't right on the home run. What you need is a G like me to beat it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why she's number 1. She's just fire. And that's all I gotta say there. But good trip down memory lane for me, you know what I mean? But what are you guys out there top 5? Girls, whatever, you know what I mean? What's your top 5 celebrity crushes? You know what I mean? And what you think of the advice, put your comments below on that one. Keep to yourself. Got excited, definitely, in that segment. But we're going to move forward now to What's the Word? What's the word for this week? Big up my guy Shaku, aka Abstract. A squirrel, fills a light pole with hundreds of nuts. You know what I mean? Big up the knowledge factor who spreading this out. But it's peak for the squirrel because obviously they found the nuts and all those nuts got pulled out and taken away. That squirrel must have come back and thought, oh crap, all my life savings is gone. Do you know what I mean? Because that's currency for the squirrel. That was stored there for winter. So it could come back and make the coldest memories feel warm to it inside his chest and his heart and that. Now it's not warm for it anymore. It's been taken away. Taken, like the Liam Neeson film. It's gone for that squirrel. It must be devastated when it goes back and finds all those nuts gone. Because it saved hundreds and hundreds of nuts. There were hundreds just pouring out of it. It's a big lamppost. This lamppost is a tall motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? 7-8 foot long. Do you know what I mean? More than that, actually. Probably 15 foot long. Look, about 15 foot long. Do you know what I mean? Size of the Hell in a Cell and that. You know what I mean? Long pole, and that squirrel put bare nuts in there. Hundreds and hundreds of nuts. Do you know what I mean? The cylinder thing. Kind of cylinder, same cylinder sort of size of my head. But the tall length of it, the way it was pouring out, that squirrel must be devastated. Going back to find all its nuts gone. Pause. You know what I mean? All of that gone. All the stuff you saved during the years and years of putting your nuts in there. And then those nuts have disappeared. Someone's teethed your nuts. I'll be angry. Be fuming. Found that squirrel, I want to be finding out who that person is and go and shit in their mouth in the night. Do you know what I mean? Going to find out. Going to your house, I'm going to terrorize your place. Going there, I'm going to shit all over your ceiling, your wall, inside your flipping mug, inside your chair, everywhere. I'm going to just leave a shit stain just to remind you why you should not have fucked with me. That's what I would have done if I was a squirrel. But it's peak for the squirrel. It's peak. It's not looking good at all. But anyways, that's it for What's the Word. We're going to now move forward now. But what do you guys think of What's the Word? You happy for the squirrel? Sad? Devastated? You know what I mean? Couldn't give a fuck? You put your comment below on that one. Or keep them to yourself. Cool. With that, we're going to move forward now to talk the Premier League. Now, if everybody has been living under a rock, they would know that obviously Arsenal drew the game on Sunday. But we're not going to just talk about Arsenal. We're here to talk about the other games that did happen in the Premier League on that weekend. So let's get into the voice for Matchday 5. Matchday 5, the Premier League. Liverpool 2, Everton 1. Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Brighton 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. West Ham United 1, Crystal Palace 2. Wolves 1, Leeds United 3. Man United 2, Chelsea 1. Fulham 3, Brentford 1. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. Arsenal 1, Man City 1. So obviously, Liverpool 2-1 win against Everton. Didn't watch the game, but it's a good win for Liverpool. I heard they played well in the first half and got 2 goals they needed to in the first half, and then Everton got theirs in the second. I think there was obviously a bit of dismay in terms of the added time, in terms where Liverpool only got 3 minutes. Well, during that game, there's only 3 minutes of added time. You know what I mean? But if it was Liverpool away, we may have seen 7 or 8 minutes. So it's a little bit of a joke, isn't it? That it was only 3 minutes of added time. But hey, you can't knock the performance. Liverpool performed a lot better, I heard, than they usually did. So their first convincing win of the season, you could say. So they still are on course. 5 wins out of 5 for them. So it's all looking great for them. Burnley, Nottingham Forest, didn't watch the game. So, you could say it's a good draw for Burnley, to be honest, because obviously they're the team that's just come up. Nottingham Forest, with Ange Postecoglou in charge now, I don't know where they go from here, to be honest. They got knocked out the FA Cup. I think, was it a Carabao Cup? One of them cups. They got knocked out of, late goal, which saw them get knocked out during the last week. So it's looking peak for them. And then the draw against Burnley, who are very going to be tough to go to for any team in the Premier League, because they're going to be very dogged, very resolute, and wanting not to concede goals so easily. You know what I mean? So next game, Brighton 2, Tottenham 2. You know, again, didn't really watch much of the game. I watched parts of it. So I did see Tottenham's second goal, I believe. So, but listen, Tottenham slip up again. Brighton, you know, did well to get their draw, but it's again another 3 points dropped for Tottenham. West Ham, you know what I mean? Oh, there was a brilliant goal as well scored by the Brighton player. I think it was Ayari. He scored a brilliant goal. So it was a brilliant, fantastic strike from him. But you look at the keeper, Vicario should have saved that, to be honest. But it's one of them ones, isn't it? West Ham losing 2-1 to Crystal Palace. I mean, West Ham at home, losing at home. It's not good for West Ham. Graham Potter, you know what I mean? Maybe doing pottery after this, to be honest, because he may be sacked. He may be taking some pottery classes after, because it's not looking good for him at all. You know what I mean? This guy right now can't seem to buy a win at this point in time. You know what I mean? And right now, he's under immense pressure. I don't know who his next game is, but we're going to find out. And I'll have to predict that. So, upcoming very soon. Wolves losing 3-1 to Leeds United. It's not good for Wolves either. I think for me, as I said, they're a candidate to go down. Losing to Leeds like that, newly promoted side, I think Leeds are obviously going to be amongst there as well. But it's a big 3 points for Leeds away from home. Man United winning 2-1 against Chelsea. Chelsea getting a player sent off. Do you know what I mean? In the first half, you know, the keeper. What was he doing? What were you doing coming out like that? It's crazy. Robert Sanchez pulling a madness. But at the end of the day, right, this is what you expect from a keeper that, let's say, a lot of Chelsea fans don't really want at the club. You know, I think they're probably in some ways a bit of a blessing in disguise that he's not going to be playing their next game. That they're going to have this Jorgensen guy in, or whoever keeper they decide to put in there, because they've got 3 or 4 of them, haven't they? So, but it's a good win for Man United, you know what I mean? But Chelsea, where do they go from here? You know what I mean? Where do they go from here? It's a bit peak for them. Losing that game where you probably thought this was probably their best chance, you know, to end that hoodoo, to break that deadlock of going to Man United and not getting a win there in over since 2013. It's a long time, you know what I mean? So that continues for them. And it's where do they go next from here? We're about to find out. Fulham, 3-1 win against Brentford. It's a good result for Fulham, you know what I mean, at home, you know what I mean? So fantastic for them. Sunderland 1-1 against Aston Villa. I told you Aston Villa, this Aston Villa team, sometimes they're wishy-washy, man. But hearing that they're kind of now near the bottom half of the table, it's a bit surprising, to be honest. But it just tells me all I need to know, that Unai Emery sometimes shits the bed when it's like a 3rd or 4th season in charge. He shits the bed. Do you know what I mean? He did it with Arsenal, so it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest. But I still am a bit surprised, because considering how much talent Villa have got in their team, they shouldn't be dropping points like that, especially away to Sunderland. Them man just came up as well. But it is what it is, man. You know, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0 is what it is there. Do you know what I mean? Not much to tell about that game. Didn't watch it, so I can't say much. Arsenal, Man City. Now, my gripe with this game, you know what I mean? I'm still a bit annoyed, to be honest. The fact of the matter is that the manager decided to go out there and play Mikel Merino in that midfield and play Trossard as well. What was he doing? What were you thinking of? And that's probably the thing. He wasn't thinking. He decided to just go and do his stubbornness. You know what I mean? Which got us to the point where we went on the front foot against Man City. We usually go to this game, and we usually, you know, make sure we're all patterned up. But this time we weren't patterned up. You know what I mean? You played the wrong people. Why are you playing Mikel Merino in the midfield with Zubamendi and Rice when we should have been more on the front foot? This is obviously something I didn't say in Ask and I Shall Deliver, which I probably should have said, but I tried to take a more calm approach because I was fuming after the game. I was absolutely annoyed with the fact of the matter is that I thought he went out there and he threw this away. Do you know what I mean? We had to rely on Martinelli to come off the bench and rescue a point for us. Big up to him, but he still should be coming off the bench to change games for us. For me, you know what I mean? If you don't have a proper starter in this team, in terms of where Noni Madueke should be playing on that left-hand side, Saka on the right, and then through that middle, if Odegaard is not fit, it should be Eze. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? You go with the England, three black England players, do you know what I mean, in that attacking midfield role. Do you know what I mean? That's where it should be, on the left, on the right, and in the middle. These them should be starting for us. Do you know what I mean? As I said, if obviously Odegaard isn't fit, but what Eze offers is a different form of attack for us. More forward thinking. Someone who's willing to take shots as well. And we just did not have that when we decided to play Mikel Merino in that role, which I did not understand. Why would you do that? Why would you sabotage it like that? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Why would you be that reckless to make moves like that? What were you thinking? At home as well, you're supposed to go on the front foot and lay a marker of dominance, and you decide to shit the bed. You know what I mean? You decide to just go, oh well, we decide we're going to play these guys, and why we play these guys, where we're just going to do it like this because, you know, we want to try and not lose the game. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, if it's away from home, fair enough, but you're at home, you lay a marker down. This team right now just won their game. The first, I think they lost 2 games in a row before they managed to win their last game. We should have gone at them. You know what I mean? The fact Maho was left till the last minute was a bit of a piss take. Cool, you made the changes at half time, but it still doesn't matter. Those them should have started. They should have started the game. But the fact of the matter is, you shit the bed to Mikel Arteta. And this is the thing you're going to be judged on this season, when you continue to make mistakes like these. Because in games like these, you should be winning these games. You should be dominating teams. Doesn't matter who it is. At home, we should make this a fortress. You should not be going out here and playing sidemen in the starting team. You know what I mean? And I've said this, Mikel Merino is someone right now who should not be playing in that midfield. Because for me, if we don't have any other option there, and obviously Rice is injured, Zubamendi's injured, Nogard is injured, then he plays. Do you know what I mean? But he does not start for me. He's not someone who starts. You know what I mean? Cool. If there's any other position, you play him up front. You know what I mean? If Gokares isn't striking, then he goes there. That's what should happen. But I'm just annoyed, man. It's got me frustrated again. To think about what you did was actual criminal offence. It was criminal. You know what I mean? Making mistakes like this in your 6th season as well. Dude, this is not your first or your second. It's your 6th season. You need to get this right. We need to win something this season, or you can fuck off. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? All right, I'm done. Match day 6 now. Let's predict match day 6. Brentford, Man United, Saturday, 27th September. I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1. Leeds versus Bournemouth. I'm going to go for... This one looks like a draw as well, to be honest. I'm going to go for a draw as well, 1-1. Chelsea versus Brighton. Chelsea should win this one. It's at home. I'm going to go for a high-scoring 3-2 Chelsea. Man City versus Burnley. City probably getting their form back. Burnley won't be an easy game, but I still think they should scrape through. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Man City win. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Liverpool win. 3-1 Liverpool. Nottingham Forest versus Sunderland. I'm going to go for a... this one has a draw written on this one as well, to be honest. 2-1 Sunderland, actually. Ange Postecoglou leave himself exposed in the back. 2-1 Sunderland. Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolves. Tottenham. 3-0 Tottenham. I don't give Wolves a cat in hell's chance, to be honest. If Strand Larsen starts, then potentially 3-1, but 3-0. Aston Villa versus Fulham. Who knows with Villa at this point? They should win because they're at home. I'm going to go for a tight 1-0 win. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Sunday game, 4:30. We should win this one, but knowing us, we're going to shit the bed, so I'm going to go 1-1. Everton versus West Ham. Monday's game at 8 p.m. I'm going to go for Everton win this one. I'm going to go 2-0 Everton win. And that's it for the predictions of the Premier League. Okay. Yeah, sorry about my... I say I apologise for my temper, but I can't apologise for it. Really pissed me off, man. Like, why would you do something like that? That's so stupid. You know what I mean? You're making mistakes like this and you're into your flipping 6th season making dumbass mistakes. Like, I just don't understand it, man. You're acting like you're still a novice, man. You've been at this club for 6 years now, going on, managing this club, and you're making stupid errors like that. So, I just don't get it, man. But anyways, you know, match day 2 of the Champions League, you know, the theme and all of that. Yeah, champion, yeah. All right, Karat, Real Madrid, 4-0 Real Madrid win. Do you know what I mean? Atalanta, this is 30th September, by the way, these games are, you know what I mean? It's literally about another week from now. But we'll just do it now because I might forget, so fuck it. Atalanta, Club Brugge, 2-1 Atalanta. Marseille, Ajax. Marseille should win this game. You know what I mean? I'm going to go for a tight 1-0 Marseille win, sorry. Inter Milan, Sparta Praha. 3-1 Inter Milan. Chelsea, Benfica. 2-0 Chelsea win. Galatasaray, Liverpool. 3-2 Liverpool win. Pafos, Bayern. 4-1 Bayern win. Tottenham, Bodo Glimt. Somehow a 2-1 Tottenham win. Atletico Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt. 2-1 Atletico Madrid. Karabakh, Copenhagen. I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1. Union St. Gilloise, Newcastle, 2-1 Newcastle win. Monaco, Man City, 3-1 Man City win. Dortmund, Athletic Club, 1-0 Dortmund win. 2-0 actually. Napoli, Sporting Lisbon. I'm going to go for a Napoli 3-1 win. Villarreal, Juventus. I'm going to go for a Juventus 2-1 win. Arsenal, Olympiacos, Arsenal 3-1 win. Barcelona, PSG. I'm going to go for a draw on this one. 2-2. Leverkusen, PSV. I'm going to go for a Leverkusen win. 2-1 Leverkusen. And that's it for the Champions League. What are your thoughts, guys? You can put your comments below on that one. Keep to yourself. That obviously we're going to come on to now the WSL. So predict the games of the WSL that's going to come up and upcoming and all of that. Come up, upcoming, all of them, ting them there. All right, if this decides to load, you know. All right, here we are. So match day 4, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. This Saturday, 27th September. I'm going to go for Arsenal winning this game. Probably another tight one, to be honest. Maybe a 3-1 Arsenal win. Man City versus London. I'm going to go for a Man City win. A 4-0. Leicester City versus Tottenham. I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1. Liverpool versus Man United. I'm going to go for a Man United win. 3-1 Man United. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Everton. I'm going to go for a Brighton and Hove Albion win. 2-1 Brighton and Hove Albion. West Ham versus Chelsea. Chelsea win. 3-1 Chelsea win. And that's all for my predictions of the WSL. And that's all for this episode of the Clare Point Podcast. Big up you guys, first time watchers. Excuse me, season watchers. Appreciate you guys' time. You know what we usually do when we finish. Peace, love, unity, have fun, and you're either all in or Clare out.